Hawks winner faces Boston in round 1 of the playoffs. Houston awaits the Grizzlies-Warriors winner in the first round. Former Miami quarterback Cam Ward, the projected number 1 overall pick in this month's NFL draft, one of 17 players confirmed to attend the event in Green Bay. He's one of 3 quarterbacks set to be there, along with Jackson Dart of Ole Miss and Alabama's Jalen Milroe. Former Colorado QB Shedeur Sanders was not announced to be in attendance. Meanwhile, ESPN's Adam Schefter's reporting Sanders will hold one last private workout Thursday in Boulder, Colorado for a contingent of officials from the Giants. New York does have the 3rd overall pick in the draft.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. Their locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Carrabba's Italian Grill is the best place to enjoy authentic Italian cuisine, passed down from our founders' family recipes. Featuring a wood-burning grill, you can enjoy Carrabba's signature dishes, including chicken brine, wood-fired grilled steak and chops, and classic Italian pasta dishes. Have a special event? Elevate your catering with Carrabba's Catering, the perfect way to enjoy large party portions of your favorite hand-prepared dishes for any event. Carrabba's Italian Grill at Parkway Place, Huntsville.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve. And we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hold your block until the whistle blows.
From SEC Media Days to the National Championship game.
This was a great team win.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Hello and welcome in to the Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk, 2 hours straight of information and strictly information, nothing else. No goofs and gaps, just strictly information on this programming here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, as well as ESPN Winchester and WZZN TV. Joe had an interesting night yesterday.
Yeah, everything you just said is a total lie.
Why?
I'm just letting you know. Yeah,
what are you talking about? This is all information.
No, 1,000% totally wrong.
You thinking that there's fun on this show? This is strictly an informational program.
Yeah, honestly, if there wasn't fun, I'd be like, peace out. I'm done.
This is like what is it? What was that? Oh geez, I'm already.
You're out the stumbling block.
Blanking.
You're stumbling right out the block right now.
It's the green logo. It used to have the all of the goofy. I don't know. I feel like it.
What are you
PBS,
talking about?
PBS. That's what it is. That's what I'm thinking about.
In heaven's name? Just all information, no fun.
All information.
By the way, half of my little childhood was made up of PBS shows that I absolutely loved.
Dude, they're legit, but they're all informational.
Dumbest show in the world was a show called MathNet.
MathNet.
It was a play on Dragnet, but it was to teach kids math.
That sounds terrible.
Looking back at it now, it is absolutely horrific.
Well, there's a few shows that you've talked to me about that I'm just like, oh, that's an interesting idea. I've never heard of it before.
It was a PBS show. I can't even tell you when it aired or anything like that. But this MathNet is the only reason that I know about or this is the only reason I learned about how you
already forgot it.
Pool table and the balls on the pool table are designed. And that's the only reason I know this.
What do you mean? It's the same as snooker, right?
No. The reason I say it is because for at least the solid colors, like the solid ones, it was all designed because there was one MathNet episode. God, it was like a 5-part series, and they were basically doing like one of those. Your wife probably had you go do one of these things where it was like a kind of like a fun little murder mystery night.
Yeah, playing Clue.
Yeah, playing Clue, except like people were actually getting kidnapped, and they were getting kidnapped from their rooms, and they were trying to figure out how it was happening. And then the MathNet people figured out that the people were getting kidnapped based on their room colors, and it was coordinated with the pool balls.
Whoa.
So like the last room was the 8-ball.
Yo, I gotta admit.
Yeah, and it was like, and I went, wait a second, I never knew that. Like, it was that sort of stuff. That's how I learned that as a little kid.
For something that's got such a basic, boring logo, that's an actually pretty interesting
see?
premise.
Now do you see the reason why 5 and 6-year-old Joe was all about MathNet?
Well, and going to different dimensions. What was that other show you were talking about?
Oh, Sliders.
Sliders.
Yeah, Sliders was amazing.
Only Sliders I know are the ones that go in my belly, Joe.
Those are delicious. That's not the same concept. Sliders was amazing until their budget got cut by like 80%, and then it just went into like garbage.
You know what else is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Our big zone deals. And similar to Sliders, they will go into your belly because you can get $50 off, 50% off, $50 off maybe on like one of the golf courses, but 50% off of your favorite places to dine here in North Alabama for your golfing. You might get $50 off. You might get even more off. You need to go and check out Big Zone Deals right now to make sure. And on top of that, as always, Joe, the show is presented by Fleming Roofing and Restoration. The guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online, FlemingHSV.com, and fill out your free quote today. Joe, Nico Mania still running strong. Everybody's still talking about it, and it's not looking like it's going to go away anytime soon with the portal opening tomorrow. And already some players hopping in right now to try and get a little extra green as they squeeze out the rag that is their college football careers.
Well, and wow, that really sounded very depressing. You made it sound like it was like the most saddest thing ever.
Not everybody's got 9 years like that Miami tight end, and he's gone now. So
we sure he's gone because didn't he get injured again this year? He might have
tried to get another year.
I'm never going to fault the players for trying to make the money. No. I'm just not going to. Especially if their stock continues to rise and if they continue to get people, because your ultimate goal obviously is make it into the NFL draft. That is 1000% what it was up with. And honestly, if I got to a combine and I had these coaches that were sitting there talking to me and they were saying, look, you've played for 3 schools in 4 years, or you played for 4 schools in 5 years. Like, why were you jumping around so much? And I would say, the way in the system that the NCAA has built allows me to move every single year that I want to. And I've made more money every single time that way, trying to make it up for my family just in case this moment never happened. Now they're going to follow that up with, well, how do we know that you're not going to do that with us and blah, blah, blah. And you're going to look, I am committed to you guys. And that my goal was to make it to the NFL. Now that I'm in the NFL, this is a different mindset. Everybody wants to think that everybody's going to be the same role player as they were because everything is about filling roles. The quarterback role is just the star role. Like, that is your role. But if you get into a different situation, your role may have to change, and you've got to figure out how to roll with that.
Jalen Milroe. Sorry. That's a weird cough.
Yeah, no, you keep bringing up a person that also doesn't want to change roles on anything. And so that is where, like, with that situation, I'm like, dude, look, I have a family that I was trying to provide for. I've provided for them now. Now it is about, I want the ring.
Exactly.
That's what I want. I want the ring.
for college football, it's not even about the players moving on from team to team and trying to make that money. It's the way that the NCAA has let this happen. I've seen articles all over the place going into today, of course, a little bit more time to study in on this, really learn what the players are thinking. And it's tough because that is what's going through their mind. Make as much money as you can to provide for your families that before you were not able to provide for. Now we got guys coming out that have been out of college sports for 5 to 6 to a decade, and they're wanting their money, and they're trying to sue somebody to get that money. Will it happen? Time will tell. But for these college players right now, without any limitations, they're going to get everything that they can before it's too late. That's why Nico's off doing what he can, even though it might not be 100% his decision. It's what the people in his corner are telling him, similar to a lot of these other players. They all got agents. Look, it's not just a one-player decision. This is what college football has done. It has brought in people to watch over these players and also dictate their paths forward for them.
Well, and there's a reason why in the NFL, and it's not just the NFL, life, there are contracts.
Yeah.
Like people, let's not act like this is just in sports that there are contracts. Okay. Like these contracts are written for a reason, and they are designed for a particular reason. So that would allow you not to be able to jump from team A to team B with just the drop of a hat, just because you didn't get enough playing time in week 1. So you want to go to team B in week 2. Like there's a reason why these contracts are written the way that they are. And there's a reason why you don't see NFL players having lawsuits and all this other stuff over the contracts because of the way that it's written. This is the reason why whatever college football is, and I'm almost over the part of saying the NCAA because they are not going to do anything. This is over where college athletics needs to come up with a plan that fixes every bit of this, because you have been governed by a body so far that is somehow makes billions of dollars falling forward. I have no idea how exactly that is. I mean, it is the craziest scenario ever to see.
I mean,
and you're going to continue to do. I would take as advantage of this as much as I possibly could if I was in their shoes.
Here's what I think when it comes to college football. I think that it was stumbling in the last few years, but it also reached its peak. Of course, they were selling out spring games last season, and that was something that we haven't seen in a long time. Even Colorado, of course, bringing on Deion Sanders. As much as you want to hate on him, he has brought a lot more fans to the sport, especially out west. I mean, it was kind of a dying team altogether. They were terrible before, and now they're a little bit better. Now he's also retiring his kid's number from Colorado. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But the sport was at its highest. College football was at its highest. I still think college football is more popular than mainly everything that's out there, outside of maybe the NFL. Regardless of that, right now, that stumbling has turned into falling flat on its face. And now I feel like college football is at a regression until it figures out what it needs to do with these contracts that need to be a thing in the first place. And then on top of that, limiting the rosters, NIL, limiting transfer portal. How often can you do it? We're just going to give it to every single year. And I think it's a great thing.
No, look, if you have the contract, then it can be written in the contract.
It can be. And you can be on a 2-year contract. And then if you want to extend it after that, you can.
I mean, that is the reason why you see these universities hiring general managers, because these guys are fluent in being able to work contracts, to be able to work the money, to be able to.
But where are they?
It's going in there. Like, that is where you need to be able to go. And I think that a lot of schools, and I think they are getting ahead of this before the NCAA is, because I think that they see the direction that this is going, and this is the why they are hiring these people to say this is part of your job until X happens, and then once that takes place, this is what we are utilizing you for, because you only have these types of general managers to be able to use your funds, figure out the best way to make a quote unquote cap work, and be able to delegate where the funds go properly.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Outside of the college football stories, which we will be continuing on throughout this show, we will be getting into a great conversation later on with Cody Goodwin in the second hour from Bama 247 about the Crimson Tide in their spring practice. And also, hey, the Braves are winning again, and they're doing it actually in a pretty good fashion, and they're not just winning on the field.
No, they're not just winning on the field. Wiley Ballard had a day last night that we're going to be talking about. But no, Braves, they're 5-4. Since starting 0-7, they're 5-4. Yes, they're still at the very bottom of the NL East, but you are seeing that this team is they need now consistency in this. They keep win one, lose one, win one, lose one. They won one last night. They jumped on Blue Jays early. You had Sean Murphy with a home run. Austin Riley had a bomb, and you were able to see the way that this team can look if they want to be consistent. Then you also need to turn around and understand that tomorrow Spencer Strider makes his season debut. So you get one of your aces back, which is massive right now because still, I know it's early in the season, but Purcell not pitching the way that he needs to. You still have Acuna out there somewhere. He's eventually going to come back, even if it is just for power and base hits, and that's it. He can come back and help it, especially with Ozuna now being back in Atlanta, getting his hip looked at in this, and possibly him having to go on the IL. There's going to be room for Acuna when he is healthy and good to go.
Yeah, and we will have more conversation about what happened in D.C. with the vice president fumbling the CFB trophy, just like college football is kind of fumbling college football. But let's hop into the phone lines. 256-576-9777. We got Steeler Mike with us. Steeler Mike, how you doing, man?
What's going on, guys? How we doing this morning?
Doing good, sir. How about you?
Oh, Bucks win. We're off the lost kid right there. We're right there with the Braves. But, you know, I was listening to Scotty Two Hotties and Phil Jr.'s show this morning, as I always do on the way into work. And I want to talk a little bit about responsible journalism. And I know that this is an Alabama network, and Ryan Fowler came on, and I'm cool with that. And I thought he said something was great there early in his conversation with Drew and Scott. He said, Tennessee did what they're supposed to do on Nico. And I agree. I'm so glad he's gone because I don't know if you guys read any articles that came out yesterday. This has been going on for a while.
Oh, yeah. No, they were trying to get a group of players together to possibly sit out of the college football playoff.
Didn't work.
Yeah. So it's been going on a while. But then Ryan Fowler makes the comment that something's going on at Tennessee. I wouldn't doubt it if there's something screwy going on up there, and that's irresponsible. And I know he may have been kidding, messing around, or whatever. That to make that statement that something's going on in Knoxville, or we're trying to cover something up after literally seconds before saying, "Oh, Tennessee did the right thing," and then comes back and does that. It's irresponsible. It's almost as bad as 3 years ago when Phil Jr. said it was a fluke that Jimbo won a national championship at Florida State, and Drew's my boy, but that was irresponsible because there is no flukes in national championships in college sports. But for Fowler to come on and then make the comment, well, Tennessee may be doing something to cover something up, it's irresponsible.
I see where he's coming from with that, but at the same time, you have to have something to back that, because that is a bold statement. Whenever you coming out and saying it, you look at what Tennessee's doing. Of course, it's big news, but at the same time, this is just how college football is. If you see more money over the horizon, you're going to chase after it, and if the team's not going to give it to you, then goodbye.
And the thing is I understand like the comment about where it was angled towards. It was an Alabama guy taking a shot at Tennessee. Okay, I get it. The other part is, and this is where I will always say this, every single program is doing something shady. Mm-hmm. Every single one. Oh yeah. And I know it, going back to what you talk about responsible journalism, I know people for a fact that have been on these airwaves already over the course of the last, what time is it? 9:19. So basically 2.5 hours, that I know for a fact that have told me stories about things that have went shady on all campuses. So again, I can say that because I have had the conversations and I know. Yeah. But at the same time, everybody is doing something, but don't make that sort of accusation unless you 100% know something's happening.
And one more point, guys, big picture. Let's talk about financial stability for the rest of your life. Who's in better financial position for the rest of their life because of the city of Knoxville and what they've done? Zakai Ziegler or Nico? Now, who's going to have more money from the city of Knoxville coming their way for the rest of their life because of what they've done at their prospective school? Zakai Ziegler. He'll have a job in Knoxville for the rest of his life. He'll be taken care of in Knoxville for the rest of his life. Nico won't be let back in the state. But
Probably
you guys
not.
have a great day.
Yeah.
Good
No,
stuff,
no,
man.
probably not. No, in Zakai,
Even Jalen Hyatt. I mean, anybody who's been able to have a great year, just one single year, and was able to finish it out at Tennessee or leave on good terms, any of those guys would be welcome with open arms back into to Knoxville. I mean, it's just the way that it had to happen. It was messy, and it did not have to happen. But it's not the first time that this type of mess has happened. We saw it with Jaden Rashada. He was supposed to get paid millions. Didn't happen. Now he's taking Bill Napier to court. And it also happened with Matthew Saluka out in Las Vegas. When does it not happen in Las Vegas, though?
well, and part of this also, those are two. So Nico and Zakai Ziegler are two totally different. I would say the stories on them are different. Okay, because with Nico, and again, I say his camp. I know what a lot of people are saying, but I say his camp have basically gotten him to try this. If I honestly would, if I go back and I could honestly be in that room with them, I would assume that even going back into December, I would like to assume that all of this is not Nico sitting there and conspiring. I want to feel like he has had people in his ear that are going, hey man, you guys did y'all's 12. Like you that money that you got paid for right now, all of that was for the 12 games that you played in 13. If you would have made it to the college into the SEC championship, everything from here on out that's basically extra, right? So why aren't you guys getting paid for the extra? Like I could see that conversation being had and being like, hold up, he's not wrong. Well, what would happen if we did this? There's no way they could go to Columbus, Ohio without X, Y, and Z. I could see that. Zakai Ziegler, on the other hand, he's going to be loved in Knoxville forever, not just because the basketball player, but if you don't know about his story, his family's house burned down whenever they were in New York. They had this situation where there was a need for like a GoFundMe that he was going to try to raise just so that they could try to help his own mother try to, basically rebuild their lives around while he's down in Knoxville trying to play basketball. And the goal for that GoFundMe was actually $50,000. But instead, because Vol Nation got behind him, it raised over $350,000. And so he was able to use all of that to move to Knoxville and to move his whole family to Knoxville. No. So there's a little bit of a different scenario, but it's not apples and oranges. But I also do get what he's saying about everything Zakai Ziegler did for the university, getting them to the Elite Eight multiple times and kind of becoming like this person that the whole university wrapped their arms around. Whereas Nico, on the other hand, is looking very greedy at this point in time and is just wanting the bag.
And that's the worst part is because it's not all Nico. I mean, he's still young and he still has a lot to learn. And obviously he's not a child, but he's not an adult. So he's kind of in that middle area where you always kind of want more. You're greedy because you're still kind of selfish, but at the same time, you're just kind of doing what you got to do. And I do think that the NIL brings great opportunities. Same with the transfer portal. But it's to the point where we're at right now where there's no limitations on pretty much every little bit of it. And that's the problem. But we'd like to hear your opinions as well. 256-576-9777. Or you can jump on the YouTubes, the X, or the Facebooks, where you can talk with us over on the chat box.
Totally sounded like you were 50 years old right then. I mean,
let me be me. I'm almost 25 years old, Joe. My frontal lobe is pretty much complete.
Oh, well, congratulations on that one.
I'm actually very scared because I'm like, if I don't feel any different past 25, I'm going to be like, well, has my frontal lobe already been complete? I'm not 100% sure. Either way, we'll take it to break off of that. And when we come back, a little bit more college football talk as well as some more fun on the other side of the Blitz here on 97.7. ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beams likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. And Newmarket, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 2190 County Road 65 very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove, and soon in Newmarket.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky. We are going to be a little bit cooler this afternoon on the backside of a cold front that moved through the Tennessee Valley late last night. Temperatures only climbing into the mid-60s this afternoon, dropping into the lower 40s as we head into the overnight early Wednesday morning. A mostly sunny sky Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s, dropping into the upper 40s as we head into the overnight. A fantastic Thursday across the Tennessee Valley, maintaining the sunshine across the area. Temperatures climbing into the upper 60s, some of us looking at the low and mid 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Attention, may I have the camp's attention?
Your home of the college football playoffs.
Playoffs?
Is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Playoffs?
Hello and welcome back into the Blitz, the most energetic program here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, here with you guys. And as always, we got the best stories too. Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter's numbers have been retired. Just imagine that. Your dad comes in and he says, hey, you play football for me, and then we're going to retire your number once you get drafted in the top, 5 picks. He hasn't even been drafted yet, but they're retiring the number. And I understand why, Joe. I truly do. There's only been, I think, 5 or 6 Colorado Buffaloes with their numbers retired. That consists of Byron White, Joe Roaming, Bobby Anderson, Rashawn Salem, who won the Heisman Trophy back in, I think it was the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. And then, of course, Shedeur and Travis Hunter, which makes sense because Shedeur broke a bunch of records in the quarterback position, as well as, of course, Travis Hunter also winning. So I can't just say that this is nepotism at its finest, or also just Deion Sanders wanting to retire every single number that's going to be a Colorado Buffalo, because, yes, he did get that extension and he'll be there a little bit longer. Let's just see if he continues to retire at this pace, because they'll look like the New York Yankees in a few years. So, yeah, I thought that was an interesting story right there. I think it's well deserved. I'm not going to say it wasn't. So good on Colorado and Deion Sanders, and let's see where they land. Travis Hunter, hopefully to the Browns. That's what I'm getting at.
There was something that just popped up about how many quarterbacks the Browns have actually used over since 1999. I think it's 41.
Yeah, don't remind me, Joe.
41. Oh, wait, here we go. It goes insane. Here we go. The Browns are set to have 41 different starting quarterbacks next season since starting the NFL, returning to the NFL in 1999. Kenny Pickett will likely be number 41.
We had Deshaun Kaiser. We had what was his name? Derek Anderson? There you go. Charlie Fry, Johnny Manziel, Brandon Wheaton.
No, don't go through it. We don't have
Kelly
an entire
Holcomb.
show.
I'm just
take your show.
Going through the memorable ones.
Show. It would take. I mean, it would take a long year. And look,
I'm just going through the memorable
ones.
Here's
the difference
Joe.
As well. We were talking just a little while ago about how I do not blame the players for using the system against the system to be able to make millions and millions of dollars. Now, again, what we heard on the phones just a second ago was right. Nico may not even be able to ever enter the state of Tennessee again. He may not be able to. It's
like Justin Bieber locked out of Canada.
I mean, it's semi, no, but it's like, look, he may not ever be able to do that. But then again, a lot of things over the course of time, eventually people forget and they start remembering the good stuff.
Yeah, he could be a Titan in a few years.
Okay, let's hold off, because if that's the case, that means that this year has also been a failure. And then I really don't want that. I really genuinely just do not want that. But at the same time, I also kind of wonder about how prospects go into a situation very similar to the way that we're talking about with the NFL and in college football. And I think to myself, I just wonder if there have been players that have had meetings with the Browns just to tell them, do not draft me. I am telling you right now, do not draft me. But we've got this $15 million signing bonus that we're going to give you. And, you could be the cornerstone of do you not understand that if you just make it to a Super Bowl with this team, we're going to have statues outside do not draft me. I want to know if players do that, because I know that in their ego, they're wanting to say, I am going to be the one that is going to totally change this around.
I want the statue. The Browns will never give her.
That is exactly what I'm thinking in my head, is that they want to be the one that is known as the guy that changed everything around for the organization.
Baker Mayfield, almost.
Malik Neighbors. Okay, I know he went to the Giants. I know he broke a ton of rookie records and he did all these amazing things for the Giants. But I genuinely am curious, because I've seen the video of him with the team, but I wonder if there's another part of this. I'm just going, you guys better get some help around me if we're going to do this. You better, absolutely.
He's probably chill with Jalen Hyatt, though.
No, see, that's the one, but it's also the fact that if you're a wide receiver, you need somebody to throw you the football.
Yeah.
And right now, your best options are Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston.
Dangerous Russ, baby. Jameis Winston's not terrible. I mean, you have two Cleveland Browns types of quarterbacks right here.
That just made it solidified that they are screwed. That is
the
all
Browns
that
have
just
stayed
did.
Afloat, Joe.
That just totally screwed everything up. But see, and that's me. And it's like, look, I want to be in a winner. I want to be associated with a winner. I want to play for a winner. I want to learn from a winner. I want to know how to do every bit of that. So it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter to me about getting drafted the number one overall pick. And yes, I know this year it is the Titans and it is a team that I love and I've worked for and all this other stuff. But what I'm saying is, in general, do I want to be the number one overall pick and go to Carolina? Do I want to be the number 25 pick and go to the Steelers?
Well,
I'm literally making teams up. I know this is not where they're actually drafting.
We've seen this in the past, though. I mean, was it Drew Brees or was it one of the Mannings that they were supposed to go to a certain place?
Oh no, it was Eli.
Okay.
Archie Manning literally looked at San Diego and said, "Do not draft my kid. He is not going to wear that uniform."
Yeah, that's what it was.
Ever.
Look,
and so what did they do? They drafted him. And everybody's going, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. And then it was 3 or 4 picks later, they traded with the Giants, and the Giants got Phillip Rivers, or when the Giants got Phillip Rivers, and they traded the 2 picks, and Phillip Rivers went to San Diego, and Eli went to New York, and here we are.
It's always so interesting.
Again, they said, "Do not draft my kid." I'm curious as to how many teams Dion has said that to.
I feel like
do not draft my kid.
His mind was all into the don't draft my kid for the first few teams, but now it's gotten to the point where Shador's probably going to be farther back in the draft. I think he's like, oh yeah, Cleveland would be a great atmosphere for my young boy to thrive in. But either way, we have a caller on the line that's going to talk a little bit more Cleveland Browns quarterbacks. It's Brandon. Brandon, how you doing, man?
Man, I just went by Eider. Welcome to Eider sign. I congratulated them on second place this year, even though they just had to throw that little bit of shade on the way to hit it.
I wish we could tell you're an Eider.
I wanted to ask this question because I've wondered this, and I figured John may know. Since '99, how many drafted Cleveland Brown quarterbacks have got a second contract?
Ooh, that's going to be a low number. Like, because I mean, I feel like I go back to Tim Couch with this. All right.
God, I hate that I'm going to have to research this.
I'll say 3, and that is being very generous. Because I couldn't tell you an actual name. Brandon Whedon, I don't think got a second contract. Johnny Manziel sure as hell didn't. Baker Mayfield, I think that they extended. No, I don't think they actually did. There might be one. There might be one, Joe.
I mean, the one that I would consider would most likely be Baker. Like, that would be the first one that I would think.
But I think he was going on his 5th year maybe with the Browns. And I think he was maybe a franchise tag, or they were thinking about giving him an extra contract. And then they're like, oh, let's cut him. He can go and play for this other team.
I mean, I'm going to have to go down a rabbit hole and trying to figure that one out. And
Tom will tell you. He'll straight up tell you. He'll probably say 0. I don't know.
That's the reason why, because I'm genuinely sitting here myself, kind of wondering about, is there an answer to this? Like, is there an actual?
It wasn't Brady Quinn. It wasn't him. He came in. He was gone after 4 years. I mean, it's just the team has moved on from QBs so quick. Colt McCoy? Hell no. I feel like everybody goes to the Chiefs right afterwards.
I was trying to think about that as y'all were talking, and I was thinking, I can't think of a drafted Browns quarterback that ever got a second contract
since the team returned. Yeah,
since the team returned, and is that the most devastating stat in Browns history, other than 0-16?
Yeah, I was about to say. That's got to be pretty bad. I mean, that's got to be up there with number 1, because there's not much else you could throw at them. Getting Hugh Jackson was pretty bad as well. The whole time with Hugh Jackson was horrible. The jerseys that they switched to back in 2015, horrible. I mean, those are things you can throw into the dark side of the Cleveland Browns organization. Thankfully, ever since they moved back to those better uniforms, their classic uniforms, they've been a little bit better. But you're definitely making me feel worse about my favorite team ever. But it's all good.
Which I didn't know that was possible. I am going to say, if there ever was one, it would be Baker. And
I don't know, man.
And again, he has started the most games in Cleveland Browns history since they came back.
That's not saying much, Joe. Most guys only go through 2 years.
I know. That's the reason why I'm saying, like, it is. If anybody, it would be Baker, but I don't think that
it wasn't Baker. Baker was there for 4 years and he was gone.
Okay, then they've never done it. Then this Cleveland Browns team has never done it.
Sheesh.
I was thinking I was right about that, and I wanted to be sure. And that is most likely a record in the NFL that is beholden only to the Browns.
No. And the worst part is they were all high draft picks. I mean, they were all like 1s or 1 through 5s. It's terrible.
I mean, I wonder if any team ever in their history has had more top 5 picks that didn't get a second contract.
Talking about just quarterbacks or period?
I'd throw number 1, like first round picks.
I think quarterbacks would make the bulk of it. Yes.
Okay.
Say first round picks in
that
general.
Would be, first round picks in general. I think they've had a lot leave that didn't that didn't want to take a second contract. And I hate to beat on the Browns, but I mean, that's
31 of the
like
teams.
that's like hitting water. That's like hitting water balloons with a 6x6. I mean, it's really weird. But I've been wanting to ask that question for a while, and then when you brought it up, I figured if I said it on Tom's show, that little beeper in his chest that he forgot to go to the doctor for a few years ago, I figured it might set that off. So being that John's 25 and not 65, he might not drop dead of a massive aneurysm in asking that question.
The more you talk about the Cleveland Browns, that age of his heart just starts to rise up. So it may be a 25-year-old body, but I mean, he's also experienced a lot of Cleveland Brown losses.
Yeah. More than Tom is age-wise. So it's a rough time. But hey, they're always the butt of the joke.
Well, I mean, they are brown.
That's why.
They are.
You didn't have to spell it out for me.
No.
Brandon, thank you for doing this to me. So it's all good though. It's funny. It's actually funny.
Well, I know the trauma is real. I just wanted to ask the question. So roll tide, and let's see what the Browns were. The Browns drafting this time?
2.
What pick?
For crying out loud, 2.
Jokes write themselves.
Don't draft the quarterback, please, for the love of God.
Lineman.
Golly.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Brandon. Good stuff. Yeah, like Travis Hunter, you might waste a year or two for the Cleveland Browns, but you're not a quarterback, so you might get extended.
Well, and
just think about
it's
that.
Funny you mentioned that because just a few seconds ago, some things have come out about Travis Hunter.
Is he getting canceled?
No, because everybody wants to cancel everybody for stupid stuff right now.
I mean, the guy just got his number retired, Joe. He can't just lose his career right now.
No, I'll explain when we come back because Travis Hunter apparently has made a very bold statement to somebody about his NFL future.
Oh, crying out loud. Geez.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
It is a very, very bold statement.
Please tell me it's not about the Browns.
No.
Okay.
I mean, not specifically about the Browns. It's just about the NFL in general. So we will have that when we come back. Phone lines as well, 256-576-4977. He is extremely excited to hear this as we continue on ESPN Winchester, 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Austin Riley, 2 homers, 5 RBI. Braves with a win over the Blue Jays 8-4 yesterday. Braves now 2-9 on the road. The Braves today, a $1.30 favorite with Spencer Schwalbenbach on the mound. Kevin Gossman for the Blue Jays plus 110, 8 under the total at Rogers Center. NBA play-in tournament today. Atlanta, a 5-point dog at Orlando, 238.5 the total. The winner moves on to meet Boston in the first round of the playoff. RBC Heritage this week at Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. Traditional week after the Masters event. Scotty Scheffler plus 360. Colin Morikawa 11-1. Xander Schauffele is 12-1. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army, who played and later coached boost for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Tom Abraham here for Valley Equipment Rental. You know, if you're a contractor installing fences, you need Valley Equipment Rental for augers of all sizes. And if you need a forklift to get those shingles up high on a roof, Valley Equipment has 10K lifts that reach to 56 feet. Valley also has tow-behind lifts that have a working height of 35 to 55 feet as well for power washing those 2-story homes or doing whatever else you need to do. Lifts, forklifts, tow-behind lifts, 35 feet and up. They have your lift at Valley Equipment Rental. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky. We are going to be a little bit cooler this afternoon on the backside of a cold front that moved through the Tennessee Valley late last night. Temperatures only climbing into the mid-60s this afternoon, dropping into the lower 40s as we head into the overnight. Early Wednesday morning, a mostly sunny sky. Wednesday afternoon, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s, dropping into the upper 40s as we head into the overnight. A fantastic Thursday across the Tennessee Valley, maintaining the sunshine across the area. Temperatures climbing into the upper 60s, some of us looking at the low and mid 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We cover all the SEC schools, including Western Union and Venmo.
I want money.
You know, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Isn't it weird how we look at video games, like sports video games to be specific, from like 2017, 2015 on the PlayStation 4, even on the Xbox 360, and they looked like they were like real. Like they looked real. Like the shadows were perfect. Everything just looked so nice. But now we look at games and we're just like, look, it's all right. The shadows don't look good.
I remember as a little kid, every single time we would get a new NFL game or a new Major League Baseball game or anything, I remember how real I thought it was. I remember when the Dreamcast came out and I was playing like, I forget, it's like NBA 2K or something, or 2000. I can't remember what it was. But I remember playing it being like, dude, this game is the most realistic basketball game I have ever played in my life.
I'm going to be real with you, Joe. I could not see you actually saying that. Whenever like Tecmo Bowl came out, you were just like, dude, it's like straight out of the real life.
You know, I actually can't. Well, see, here's the problem. With Tecmo Bowl, with Bases Loaded, with those games from Nintendo, those were always the games that they were fictional stadiums. Mm-hmm. Like everything was fictional.
Yeah.
Like there was none of this. It wasn't until Bases Loaded 3, and that may be the first game that actually did, that Bases Loaded 3 actually started using real live baseball stadiums. And they used only 3 of them. You chose to play in either LA, Wrigley, may have been New York. I'm not 100% sure, but those were the 3 stadiums that you chose from.
Oh,
and that was it.
I could see why you'd be pretty pumped up though to play Bases Loaded, because they used it to where it was like a 16-bit. Yeah. All right. And they actually showed a pretty good depth of perception. So that actually doesn't look terrible.
I think it was Triple Play or World Series Baseball is when it really started looking a little bit more and more real as you started going on and they started improving, like on the 64, on the PlayStation, on the Dreamcast, like all those, like it continued to go on and on and on. And then it started getting really good. And so from here on out, now you're just like nitpicking things. Like I remember playing some NBA basketball game. It may have been 19, NBA 2K19, where you could see the sweat on the players' shoulders and their jerseys as the game was going on. Like their jerseys were getting, like you start seeing the perspiration.
I remember Colin Kaepernick in 2015, Madden 2015, and there was this picture where he has his tattoos. I'm just like, dude, it can't get any better than this.
Yeah, because up till that point in time, nobody had their tattoos in the game. And because what you were having to do, and for people that don't know this is a real thing, you have to get permission from the tattoo artist to allow a video game to put your tattoos in.
That is wild.
So like guys with sleeves, they're like, oh, I've got to go, 4 or 5 different guys, but I want my sleeve in the game because that's what especially like in the NBA and stuff. So they have to get permission from the tattoo artist so that the PlayStation can put this into the game.
Was Triple Play the one where they did the Macarena after you like hit a home run and you went back around the place? I played one or two of the N64 baseball games, and I remember the Macarena. I remember you could play on the moon in this like crazy looking stadium.
They did have them where you could play like in the living room, you could play at a castle, you could play like do home run derbies and that thing. Like I did that a lot, and so that made it really like real. Like as in you could break windows and stuff with baseballs. That was really extremely fun, but that was kind of down the line whenever we're talking about trying to improve the game and look better.
Yeah.
But when you start seeing the perspiration, and even like now, people will make fun of Madden, be like, oh, well, Madden looks the same. Guys, you can only do so much. And especially since they're still allowing like PS4 games to be made for some console or for some video games, then you definitely limit yourself because you're having to limit it to the PS4's capability, not the PS5's. And so that's why like the game, like I play, like the Japanese baseball game, is just a new gen game.
Oh, that game looks good.
And it looks so incredibly real that you just look at it and you're just blown away at the realism that you're looking with. And it continues to be that way. Like, again, I love playing in the rain. Not like, oh, I want to go outside today while it's pouring down rain. Playing a rain game on that Japanese baseball game is amazing.
How good does the dirt look?
It turns to mud. Like it changes the way that you play the game.
That alone makes me
because
happy.
Again, the Hanshin Tigers have an all dirt field. So if it's pouring down rain, like it has in one of the games I was playing a couple of weeks ago, I hit a ground ball to short. And if it's a soft ground ball, it dies. Like before,
stuck in a puddle.
It dies. And so it helps me. Like if it's a weak hit, I can get to first base because the shortstop's having to run up more because it's all dead. Like things like that change the game. If you hit a ball into the gap, once it hits the grass, it slows down because that's what would happen. Like the physics and everything on it are absolutely amazing. And so those are what you pay attention to. What's also cool is because like games in MLB The Show right now, they allow you to go, either you want to be a fielder, you can be a pitcher, or you can play both ways because of Shohei Ohtani. And so now it is the trend to play both ways because of guys like Shohei. You see it now even like in Division II as we're doing all these baseball games, there'll be times where I'll be getting a roster for an opposing team and it'll say shortstop / right-handed pitcher, second base / left-handed pitcher. Like they're both wanting to play both ways. Travis Hunter is another player that wants to play both ways. And apparently he told somebody that he is telling every single NFL team that he meets with that he would much rather retire from football altogether than being limited to just one side. He says if he is going to play in the NFL, he wants to play both cornerback and wide receiver.
See,
know that whenever you're drafting.
That's a man stern on his morals. Okay, this isn't like a Jalen Milroe situation where the guy doesn't want to do anything but play quarterback. This is a guy that wants to do everything for your team, and not for your team, just for him. He loves that side of the competition, and I love that about it. But the real question is, how could the Cleveland Browns or how could the Giants use him on both offense and defense? Who would actually win out more with that? Because you're getting a guy that is a really good cornerback and an all right wide receiver, or flip it, he's an all right cornerback and just a decent wide receiver. Like there's a lot to look at. And when you pick up a guy like him, you don't want to just be getting two average players in the form of an average wide receiver, an average quarterback, because when you're playing in the NFL, Joe, he's going to get a lot more exhausted than he was in and you will have commercial breaks and all that stuff. He'll breathe a little bit more, but it's not that different from college football, except for that you're playing against a bunch of grown men.
I want to think that the issue is going to come into it. Let's just use Cleveland, for instance, because they have the number 2 pick. We basically all know who the Titans are going to be taking at number 1 unless they trade out. If you are the Browns or any other NFL team, do you say, we respect that you want to do that? We will give you the opportunity to do that. But what happens, and I'm not saying this to negate your ability, but what happens if we allow you to play both positions during training camp, during OTAs, during anything else, and you're not one of the top 4 guys on the depth chart at one of the 2 positions? Then what? And I mean, that's a general.
That's a good way of looking at it.
I mean, or like, again, you could be the number 1 cornerback and we're going to put you on the right side and you're going to go up against the number 2 wide receiver on whatever team. We can say that. Or are you going to be happy with that and know that as the number 5 wide receiver, you're only going to get in certain packages?
See, Joe, this is why I like you, man. You put my words together in a way that people can actually understand them.
Well, it's the thing is like, look, you can't say, okay, well, we've got this big board right here behind me. So, all right, well, if Travis Hunter is number 1 at cornerback, we've got to put him at number 2 wide receiver because he wants to play both. You're going to have to earn that. And at the same time, you're going to be doing both positions during practice. So again, cardio, all that's part of it. But what if I'm sitting here telling you right now, you will have 1,000% an opportunity to play both. But are you going to be okay if you're not one of the top 3 on the depth chart in one of those positions because there are 3 other guys that are better than you?
Well, I hope he just doesn't retire because he's not starting on one side of the ball.
That's
hopefully
why
one starting job is enough for Travis Hunter in the NFL.
That's the reason why I want to. That's when I want to know the question. I'll give you your opportunity. You have to be one of the top 3.
256-576-97.7. We head to the second hour. Cody Goodwin awaits. We'll be right back here on the Blitz.
The Braves roll into the 2025 season with a singular focus. Bring home the division title and remind the league what Atlanta is all about.
Swung on, driven to left center field and deep. That baby's out of here. Austin Riley. Trio to Olsen, and he powers one. Deep right center field to the wall. It's gonna fly. It's a home run. Back-to-back homers.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone with my friend Brandon Pilcher from Pilcher's Appraisals. Brandon, what exactly do you do?
Steve, I'm an appraiser. I can value a property for you if you're potentially going to sell, and that valuation could also be used to help you with your property taxes.
Thanks, Brandon. Brandon is licensed in Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. You can contact him at 706-936-3766. Call or text.
Have you discovered Good Company Cafe? The place for breakfast, brunch, lunch, and so much more. Enjoy brunch all day and pair with one of our many seasonal refreshing drinks, including alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. Choose inside or outside on our gorgeous, spacious, dog-friendly patio and have some fun with friends playing yard games in the courtyard. See catering, to-go options, and lots more at goodcompany-cafe.com. Good Company Cafe, 7500 South Memorial Parkway.
1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Here's 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living then has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
This is Steve Moulton for Lee's Magic Tunnel. Do you live out of your car? Does your car look like you've been well lived in? Then take your vehicle to Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway. Any size of the vehicle, it doesn't matter. Lee's will get it clean. Offering many types of washes, but getting it clean inside and out. Ask for the manager special. That's at Lee's Magic Tunnel, located on the Parkway, and located online at leesmagictunnel.com for more information.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Austin Riley, 2 homers, 5 RBI. Braves with a win over the Blue Jays 8-4 yesterday. Braves now 2-9 on the road. The Braves today, $1.30 favorite with Spencer Schwalbenbach on the mound. Kevin Gossman for the Blue Jays plus 110, 8 under the total at Rogers Center. NBA play-in tournament today. Atlanta, a 5-point dog at Orlando. 238.5 the total. The winner moves on to meet Boston in the first round of the playoff. RBC Heritage this week at Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. Traditional week after the Masters event. Scotty Scheffler plus 360. Colin Morikawa 11-1. Xander Schauffele is 12-1. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky. We are going to be a little bit cooler this afternoon on the backside of a cold front that moved through the Tennessee Valley late last night. Temperatures only climbing into the mid-60s this afternoon, dropping into the lower 40s as we head into the overnight early Wednesday morning. A mostly sunny sky Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s, dropping into the upper 40s as we head into the overnight. A fantastic Thursday across the Tennessee Valley, maintaining the sunshine across the area. Temperatures climbing into the upper 60s, some of us looking at the low and mid 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour. 97.7 ESPN The Zone and the Blitz. Joe Hunk, John Abraham. That's me. 256-576-977. As you can hop in on the show as we continue on this Jackie Robinson Day, April 15th. Every single Major League Baseball player will be rocking the number 42 today, no matter where they are playing in America or Canada, like the Atlanta Braves are going to be doing against the Toronto Blue Jays. First pitch for that is going to be happening at 6 o'clock. We will join it in progress after the drive later on tonight. And you also have Trash Pandas.
Nice.
Baseball taking places. They are down in Montgomery playing at Riverwalk. Down there right in the city limits of Montgomery, right on the limit.
Does Japan do anything like that? Like Jackie Robinson Day? Do they do anything special for one of their players that they had that changed the game, the landscape of everything that is baseball?
The only one that I would think of would be, honestly, I don't believe.
Huh.
No, I don't think that they do.
I don't know if any other sport does anything like Jackie Robinson Day.
I mean,
which I think is so special about
because we have Jackie Robinson Day. There's even Roberto Clemente Day that players can choose to wear the number 21 if they want to on the back of their jerseys. I really don't think that really any other sport altogether does that in celebration of it, just because, especially like with the age in which some sports and everything was. And again, with Japan, it is made up of majority Japanese baseball players. They honestly even have rules about how many Americans they can even have on their roster, or not just American, I should say foreigners, not just Americans, but they have you can only have 4 total.
Which if that rule wasn't here in America, bro, we'd be screwed.
Oh, we would be so incredibly screwed. The Dominican,
Cancel.
Yeah, the Dominican would have an amazing baseball league.
We, on the other hand, our baseball league would be screwed.
I mean, come on. You could throw a few. I'm trying to think of like all of the best, just straight up American players.
Dude, have you watched, and I know that you have it, the Clubhouse that's on Netflix?
I've watched Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
No, it's totally different. And I mean,
I have no idea what you're
trust
talking
me,
about.
we need O'Toodles every once in a while to help us out in certain situations.
Hot dog.
That's right. God, don't sing that because it'll get me in my head, and I know the song, and I can sing the song, and I hate that I know the song and can sing the song. The in it, you know, Alex Cora, whenever they're going out, like I've just gotten through the first episode, I'm now on episode 2, and majority of the time he is speaking Spanish because how many players are from or not from America that are playing for his team? Again, not saying good or bad, just saying it's also amazing that he is fluent in that, where he can do it both in English and Spanish, that he can sit there and talk to him. Now, the Boston Red Sox only have one Japanese player on their team, but obviously the Spanish-speaking players walk around with translators and all that sort of stuff. But like when Cora is telling them about how, you know, they did or didn't make the roster, the translator's sitting in there, but he'll a lot of times be sitting there and talking to them in Spanish fluently. So they needs to, but that's just how many Dominican, Venezuelan, you know, Hispanic players that may play in Major League Baseball. There was no way ever that Major League Baseball could even think about doing the rule that Japan has. Because, I mean, Japan...
I'm trying to think about this, though, because, again, Cuba, Dominican Republic, I mean, all of this stuff is technically a part of America, the U.S. Technically...
It depends on how the rule would be written.
America would find a way to be like, yeah, you know what? I know that we're not allowed to have these guys, but you know, these guys are right down the road.
So this is the reason why, like, Trump would invade Cuba, be like, okay, look, we need baseball to continue. We need these guys to be Americans. So
Why do you
going to
think?
make them Americans.
Why do you think he wanted to change it to the Gulf of America?
I mean, it was. Look, I'm just saying, like,
Not that the name mattered in the first place. The Gulf of Mexico was just a name that was randomly stuck on it a long time ago, and it's stuck all the way up till now, even though it's attached to all of America, even Mexico, guys. Remember this. Anybody who's still questioning this, North America, you know, it's all America.
Open up this portal.
I did that.
I did not mean to do that. But what I'm saying is that in Japan they only allow 4 foreign players to be on their roster, on their active roster. They could have 65 Americans or 65 foreigners if they wanted them, but they can only have 4 international players, and they all can't be on the same side of the ball, meaning you can't have 4 guys that are just playing that are non-pitchers, and you can't just have 4 guys that are pitchers. You got to have like 3 and 1, 2 and 2.
Don't stack the box.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's all these rules for it. So no, they don't have a day like this. It is, I don't know what it would be if they had, but yeah, no, they definitely don't have a day like this. But again, you look at the Braves roster, you have one, I'm looking right now, just counting through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 9 Atlanta Braves right now that are on the active roster, 9 out of 26 that are outside the United States.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and there's about 4 or 5 of them are from Cuba. You have some of the Dominican Republic, Venezuela. So yeah, no, you could not do this rule. You could not do this rule in America. So, and no, baseball right now, there's kind of a give and take on what your opinion is on certain things.
Like the Braves.
Well, with the Braves, there's what happened last night with their on-field reporter. Now, before we even got to talk about it today, before we even got a second to think about it, there is backlash over what he did last night.
Wonderful.
There is an absolute, just massive backlash of what Wiley Ballard did. So I'm very confused on this part, because here is what Wiley Ballard did. It was during the Braves game last night. He is the roaming reporter. He obviously is on the field, on what we would say to be on the sidelines of the game. It is the 5th inning. The Braves are up 4-0 right now in Toronto. And look, the conversation for majority of the first few innings for the Braves were all about the renovations. This was the first time that the Braves had been in Toronto since they renovated the Rogers Center. So they were talking about all the different amenities and everything else that they were doing. So they had Wiley going around. They were showcasing all this stuff because the Braves didn't play there last year.
Yeah, super fun segment, I would say.
They were trying to have this fun little segment in there, and there is a bar that is overlooking the field, and they sent Wiley Ballard there. And I don't know what the conversation was with the ladies beforehand. I would assume it's, hey, look, I'm on FanDuel South right now. This is a live broadcast. I'm the on-field guy for the Atlanta Braves. They want me to interview somebody just to kind of have a fun little segment.
I would say that's exactly what happened. Yes.
Okay. Like, I'm not going to say anything to offend you or anything like that. Like, that's how I approach it whenever I'm going up and talking to somebody. It's like, look, we're just having fun. Here's what I'm going to ask you about, blah, blah, blah. And so here's how it goes. And this is why it's kind of interesting to see, okay, this is the direction that eventually the whole 1 minute segment goes on as the Braves are batting. If I can see, this is what happens every single time.
We gotta.
I just tested this.
You need me to come over there? I
No.
can come over.
You know what I need? I need for my gear to work properly whenever it's supposed to. That's exactly what I want.
You gotta know.
Up here up the corner rooftop. Who do we got here? What's your name?
My name's Lauren.
Lawrence. All right.
And I'm Kayla.
Kayla, and you guys hang out at the rooftop lounge often?
Once a year I come out to visit.
Okay, well, we timed it pretty well. All right, good. How are you guys doing to root for the Braves today?
Oh, I don't know. I'm hoping for the best.
What about you? Are you a Braves fan now?
Not quite.
Not quite. All right, I'm gonna go to work up here, guys. Good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, Wiley. You got 4 innings to get the numbers.
Come on.
Get us some more Braves fans.
All right, so they want me to get your numbers.
They want you to get my
I'm dead serious. They're saying to my ear right now, she doesn't believe me because she thinks you guys are not. I'm making this up. Even if you guys weren't, I might use that in the future. That's actually a pretty good move.
It is.
This is unbelievable. So the best part of this right now is that Wiley could totally be faking, and this might be the new move. Just walk around with a FanDuel microphone and an earpiece in.
Yes.
And convince fans that they're actually on TV.
I should have thought of this years ago. I am speechless. I got the number. We're good.
He didn't even need half an inning.
No.
He knocked that out.
No.
Good on him.
No.
And also, if the producer or the guys, the play-by-play dudes are going to say something about it, then I'm going to go for it. Because then it gives me an excuse to also get their numbers and make a little bit.
Well, look, and he even tried to end it early. Like, that was the other thing, is he was like, all right, guys, I'm going to hang out up here for the next little bit. Like, he was even saying that. Like, he was just having fun with it and just being like, all right, cool. I did my thing. I got them. The ladies were very honest. You Braves fans, no. Like, you could tell they didn't know anything like what they were going to be talking about. You knew that they were just there. They were enjoying a drink. They were dressed professionally. So they just got out of work somewhere and they were just kind of hanging out. And they just said, you know what? This will be hilarious. I'll do it and it'll be fun. There are two sides to every coin. There are people on social media that said what he was doing is sexist. There are people that are on social media that are thinking that it's hilarious because he was able to do this on national television, on a Braves broadcast, and he was able to get her phone number.
What's sexist about that?
I'm just relaying the message.
There's nothing sexist about a guy and a girl. That just because somebody's getting somebody's number, and I get it, okay? You might want to throw out the fact that, oh, well, he's using his power. He's using his status. He's not using anything. The girls are up on a rooftop bar. They probably got more power than him. They might make a bigger income than him. Regardless.
No, they probably do. I'm probably going to go on 11.
Regardless of that, though, this is just it was a spur of the moment funny thing where it's two attractive girls, one young attractive dude, and it was like what usually happens. Oh, they're going to talk, they're going to chill for a little bit, and you know what? Why not throw out the joke? You got 4 innings, do it.
Well, and I think that's where I'm confused on the whole thing about, it was, to me, what it was just a fun segment. It was hey, Wiley, what we want you to do, we want you to go up there. We want you to just, find a couple of people to talk to. We're going to do a shot during here. And he said, is like, maybe because a lot of times the on-field guy is, or on-field girl is going to come up with an idea for the plan of like, hey, let me try this. Let me do this, let me do this for a segment, and it'll either get approved or it won't. It was 4-0. The Braves were in control of the game. It was the 5th inning. They're just kind of having fun with it. I just saw it as some guys having fun and then other guys kind of antagonizing him. And so honestly, with him, you could even hear during the broadcast, he even says, hey, they want me to get your number. They're like looking at him like, really? He's like, no, seriously, we're still on right now. Like, he was letting them know, like, I'm not messing with you.
100%
like,
transparent.
this is what they just said in my ear. Like, I would have even went the further thing is like, hey, do you want to put the earpiece on? And they talk to you. Like, I'll let you hear what they're saying to me right now so that you know that I'm not making this up.
I wouldn't have done that. I got dirty ears, Joe, and I clean them. regularly.
Well, you're supposed to clean the earpiece after every single time.
Yeah, but you're still having it in your ear. I'm not giving that to
It
anybody
was the
else.
fifth inning.
Yeah, that's that's
the fifth inning.
An hour and a half.
But what I'm saying is that this was supposed to be just this big fun.
Of course. When did it get to the point where it's not right to be a dude?
Well, and I don't know if it's like a not right to be a dude thing. I think it is now more of things are not equal. And if you were looking at this from the other side of it and a woman did this, it was going to be looked at. That's really what's being talked about a lot on social media and again, he was just having fun.
Yeah. It's not like
he's just having fun.
They're not playing slap ass up there.
And he's also not, and it's also not one of those like, oh, hey, give me your number to be really cool. And that next thing you know, he's been blowing her phone up the entire night. Like, A, she may not even get him the right number. B, she probably even said X, Y, and Z. I don't know. But all I'm thinking to myself is this was really just supposed to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't supposed to be as deep as what it is. And yes, there are women that are in the media that are saying, if I would have done this on the sidelines, I would be belittled for all time of being called certain names. I don't disagree with that would be the case. That is also extremely wrong for that to be the case because, men nor women should have to go be through that because, again, do what you want to do. Like I'm not going to judge you at all for it, especially if you got game, because that was really just him just saying, hey, look, I've got this. I'm just going to have fun with it.
It's not even, it's like the combination of, first off, a great wingman. And second off, he's got the confidence in the first place. He's wearing the earpiece. Why not just finish off the segment like that and then just go on with your night? He's probably never even going to think of those people again. Well, he might, because this is going to probably linger. Because them
See, and so here we go. This is it, right? Like again, seeing somebody on X right now. Let's switch roles here for a second. This is a female reporter that's saying this. Or if any other woman was interviewing two men, flirting with them and asking for their numbers mid-broadcast, how would it look?
Was she wearing a ring? Did we notice that? Did we see anything about the ring?
I mean, it was zoomed in. Like this was probably a camera that was down. I don't know if it was left field line, right field line, but it was across the field. That was the zoom camera. It was a tight shot.
You think Wiley?
No, she does not have a ring.
There you go. Then it's fair game. This is fair game. And then the same thing could have went if it was the other way around.
Look, and the other side of this, and this is the other part, and this is where, like for myself, I read body language more than I actually read a text message. Like this is the reason I love having in-person conversation.
Texting is miserable
Yeah,
sometimes.
like I love in-person conversation because I can see how a body reacts to a statement. And I will say something about it. All right, you look uncomfortable. Why is that? Not just, are you uncomfortable with what I said? It's like, all right, something I said hit you. So explain what you're feeling right now so that I can feel like, so that I know that either did I offend you? Did I bring a thought to your mind that like, I will ask these questions because I can read body language so incredibly well.
So since you are a body language expert, Joe, what was the woman feeling right after that question was asked?
She definitely did not have a problem giving the phone number. Like she did not have a problem with it. You can look at the same thing. Her friend behind her was laughing like crazy about it because they're like, I cannot believe she's actually about to do this. But if you look at the body language of the female in the conversation, she was feeling it. That was it. That's all. I mean, again, it's a typical like in a bar or not, and I guarantee you, if she wasn't okay with the situation, he would have been like, yeah, guys, that's not going to happen. I can feel like right now that this is not a get your number situation.
I think this is just a bunch of consenting adults and in a spur of the moment situation. And I will be honest, sometimes girls want to be girls too. And honestly, she probably felt 10 years younger off of just having that little thing happen. That's going to make her weak.
Well, look, and I'm even watching.
Hopefully not her month.
And the other, in the other part of this, again, going back to body language and everything else that we're looking at, he's in between the two ladies, and his back left hand.
Dude, he's got swagger.
Well, his back left hand is actually on the railing behind her.
Mm-hmm.
He never touches her.
No.
Like it's never one of those, let me put my hand on your lower back, let me put it on your shoulder, nothing like that. He never makes physical contact with her whatsoever. He's being respectful the entire time. Like that's the difference in this.
Like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, like he is seriously being respectful as this whole thing is going along. And even when he asks her for her number, She's just sitting there leaning in towards him. She's not leaning away like this is offensive. She's leaning in towards him.
Yeah, usually whenever you interview someone, Joe, you got to be a little bit closer than that bubble, you know? So it makes sense why, she was leaning close to him. And also, he's an attractive fellow. What are you going to do?
And I'm just...
Good on you, Wile E. Coyote.
Well, and again, that's why I look at it from a different scenario. She's the one putting the phone number in, by the way.
Boom.
She takes his phone.
Locked, loaded, done.
She took his phone and is the one that is typing it in. Not one of those... All right, so it's what number's Canada? Is that like a 2-3? Am I supposed to do that first? Like that's what you're saying. Like he's not doing that. He hands her phone and she types it in.
+1. That's what Canada.
No, that's USA.
It says dialing codes +1.
Yes, +1. That's America. When you're dialing America, it's 1. Like for us, if you dial America, it's not just sometimes if you dial 1-256-576.
647 then.
647. So it'll be 647, then the area code, then the phone number.
That is the actual Toronto's area code.
Okay,
as
so
well.
that's still not what I'm asking. It's
647.
But you see what I'm saying? Okay, like he doesn't know this. He's in Canada.
Yeah.
So she's the one that's typing everything out. She's leaning into it. He read the situation in a way that he knew it was okay to go down that path. It was not he's really forcing the issue. Okay, let's go back. Joe Namath, for instance. Does everybody remember the Joe Namath incident during the Bama? Was it not the Bama, but the Jets game?
Man was gone.
Yeah, I want to kiss you. Watch her body language. That body language was 1,000%. You need to get away from me. Like that was the body language.
And it was more of like a concerned friend, just like, okay, Joe. All right.
Yeah, like
and then let's end. It was awkward, but it still wasn't to the point where she's like, I'm in danger.
No.
People need to understand this. And guys, you can be guys, don't be weird. Girls, you can be girls, don't cancel everybody. Same goes for guys, same goes for girls. Everything the same. We're just human beings at the end of the day, and we want to have fun.
I literally have a screenshot. She is laughing and giggling as she's putting the number in. He is standing there again within respectable distance, obviously for an interview. He's not hugging up on her. He's not doing anything like that. The body language is saying he understood that it was okay to go down this path.
Now, Brandon's comment on WZZN TV, on the other hand, might get some raised eyebrows from both sides.
256
576
497. We come back. Cody Goodwin will look at us and tell us about the body language of Alabama football right now and how those players were after that. As we continue on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
1 in 3 adults in America have pre-diabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Here's 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID, and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. At Newmarket, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 2190 County Road 65 very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove, and soon in Newmarket. Rocket City, for air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at sensagreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any new Bryant system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bad compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
I want to shoot, baby. Shoot.
Ooh. How you doing, baby? No.
You think anybody's reacting to the Alabama spring practice like this? Like, oh, baby, how you doing?
Yeah, when they left.
They went to the place down the road to eat some good burgers.
Yeah, look,
bomb hours.
The attendance there, like around college football, I promise you, was one of those where they probably were well overstaffed. And about an hour into it, they were like, "Yeah, you can probably leave right now. We don't need that."
Well, honestly, if you worked at like Burger King and that was the case, you'd probably be pretty happy. But for Alabama people, I mean, it might not be the same way.
But, I remember, and Cody Goodwin may remember this. I can't remember. It was I want to say it may have been 2008 was when the Iron Bowl was taking place and it was happening on a Black Friday. I was in Birmingham. I remember going to a mall and I remember going there super early because I thought I better get there early. And I walked into this mall and it was dead.
Hell yeah.
Because everybody was in Tuscaloosa for the game. And so nobody was at the mall. And it was like, I went into a hat store and a guy goes, "Yeah, we've already let like 5 people go home today. This is not what we expected."
Yeah. Well,
in there.
Regardless, obviously the Nico Iamaleava news, which I'm so glad we don't have to say that name as much now.
We're actually going to say it more.
No, it's going to get to, it's at a peak right now. It's going to go downhill, Joe. But that news kind of took over a majority of what was going on over the weekend because everybody knew that there were different types of games being played or lack thereof. And for Alabama, it was a totally different type of A-Day. We got Cody Goodwin from Bama 247 to tell us a little bit more about how that went, as well as what to look forward to with this squad as Ty Simpson, of course, emerges as a likely starter for the 2025 season. Cody, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, and I think I agree with Joe. I think we've all been saying Iamaleava a lot more, at least over the last few days, and I think we're going to continue to until this dude finds a landing spot through the portal. So,
well, I can agree with you on that, but similar to stocks, it goes up, it goes down, and for Tennessee, their stock was all in on Iamaleava, and that was just last year. They were suing the NCAA to try and figure out a way we can get this guy in without any extra investigation. And now, just a year later, it's all kind of gone downhill. Talk a little bit about your perspective and what kind of the vibe is around Tuscaloosa now, knowing that this rivalry is going to be totally different going into 2025 with whatever Alabama is going to throw at a team that is Tennessee that honestly looks like a totally different squad that Alabama lost to last season.
Yeah, kind of shows, at least, from the periphery, I guess, the importance of having a guy that you can trust at quarterback, right? Or at least a guy that has a level of consistency that the coaching staff can believe in and at least build around. And I think this is more, and I think we've talked about this on this show a few different times that I've been on, like college football is getting closer and closer to NFL light. And this was kind of the first, when people look back on the history of college football and how this thing ultimately unfolds and continues to shape shift and what it'll look like 10, 15 years down the road from now, like this is going to be the first, quote unquote free agent standoff, right? Or contract dispute standoff, right? Because how many times do we hear in the NFL where, oh, this guy's holding out until he gets a new contract, right?
No.
Even though he doesn't technically, even though his contract is not technically up, right? Like his agents and his representation are talking with the team, trying to, get a contract extension done, trying to get a new deal done. And until then, he's not going to show up for organized team activities. He's not going to show up for those voluntary workouts. He may even not show up for, the primary preseason camp and all of that jazz until he gets some new guaranteed money. And that seems like that's what this was with Tennessee. Nico and his representation decided that they wanted a little bit more money. Tennessee said no. And that was, okay, we're going to go take our talents elsewhere, because at least at the college level right now, they have that freedom to hit the portal and go see what else, they can fetch. But I think that's what people, when they look back on this situation and, they look back on what college football ultimately becomes here over the next 5, 10, 15 years, this could be a pretty seminal, pivotal moment, I think, where it's like, okay, like this is going to be a slightly different from the NFL, but this was kind of the first unofficial, contract dispute. And it ultimately led to, a team and their star quarterback parting ways.
Yeah, and I feel like it had to happen at some point. We just didn't know it was going to come from this quarterback in specific. Obviously, we've seen some stuff before with in UNLV. They had Matthew Sluka. He was kind of 3 games into the season, and he was still waiting on his money. That was a lot less, though. You could look over at some other players, and it's a very similar situation, but nothing as big as this one, where a player is actually going to hold out, and a starting quarterback at that, to the point where 2 days later, he's already off the campus. I mean, this is something that happens in the NFL, and it's resolved in a few days. But in college football, there's just no bearings to kind of hold it all together.
Yeah, and I don't know that I blame either side for the way that it ultimately resulted, right? Because you look at Nico and his representation, they want to cash in on one final payday before the House settlement gets passed, because once the House settlement gets passed, there's going to be a lot more regulation on NIL payments and what these athletes are doing to obtain those NIL payments. Like right now, it's a lot more pay for play. Once the House settlement finally gets decided and gets, codified, basically, like that there's going to be a lot more, hey, are you actually doing the things that are in your contract in order to gain proper NIL payments? And then I also don't blame Tennessee for, looking at Nico and not blinking and saying like, look, like you may want to, double your salary, right? I think he was making somewhere in the ballpark of like 1.5 or 2 million. I think it's been reported that they were asking for somewhere around 4. I don't blame Tennessee for being like, yeah, no, we don't think you've earned that. We don't think you deserve that. And also they sent a message to, I think, the rest of the team too, that like, hey, he may be a star quarterback. We may have bent over backwards to help him, but there's a line that we are not willing to cross to protect, the team and to kind of show you guys that there is no one player that is above the rest of the team. How does that change when the House settlement gets, codified and all of these football programs are dealing with, certain types of rev share money, and what does that salary cap look like, and how does NIL pay into that? We'll cross that bridge down the road when we ultimately get there. But I think that was a strong message from Tennessee too. And I don't blame them for saying, hey, this superstar quarterback is not above what we're trying to do here as a football program. So I don't blame either side, but it was definitely, like I said earlier, I think people are going to look back on this moment, and it's going to be a pretty big pivot point when it comes to the history of college football.
No doubt. We also have other colleges commenting on this. We saw Miami say a similar story where it's, again, the program comes first, whereas the players are going to fall in line, similar to how the coaches do it. Joe?
No, and I was also curious about, like, again, the Alabama side of these things. You have somebody that has a good spring that was, came into the university, and so he gets a lot of attention. A lot of you guys are writing about him or something like that. Could that be something where they're going, you know what? Like, look at how much I've already getting. I'm not getting enough for the coverage. Like, is that something that we could potentially see? And again, even with Alabama, where you're coming off of a spring where we're trying to figure out who starters are.
Yeah, no, I think that's an interesting thought exercise, right? Like if there's a guy on Alabama's roster currently that would, I don't know, participate in a holdout situation similar to what Nico did, like who would it be? I've been thinking about that the last couple of days, and I'm not sure I could come up with a name on the current roster, but like if it happened at one place, it's surely going to happen at another place, probably sooner rather than later. I don't know if that other place is going to be Alabama. I know that it's pretty well known that Alabama's NIL structure is not currently, on par with teams like Tennessee and LSU and Texas and Ohio State, and now Michigan is pouring in a lot of money. And, you know, like I think Alabama is really trying to hold out until, you know, the House settlement is finalized and they're able to kind of work within a salary cap similar to what some of their other, I think they're kind of banking on that to maybe level the playing field a little bit because their NIL stuff is not really up to snuff at the moment compared to some other teams. But yeah, I don't know. And I think it says a lot about the current state of the Alabama program and the coaching staff and who these guys are recruiting, both on the recruiting trail as high school prospects, but then also through the portal. And Kalen DeBoer made mention of this too on Monday. Like they're looking for guys that can fit the culture and, you know, are not in it for, you know, the immediate payday. They're in this to try and, you know, build a team that's capable of making the playoff, winning the SEC, winning a national championship, and maybe cashing in more when you get to the professional ranks. Not unlike what Nick Saban sold all of these guys for 17 years when he was Alabama's head coach, right? Like you come to Alabama to get developed and go to the league, and then that's where you get your bag. So, you know, I think it says volumes that at least in the short term right now, can't really picture any current Alabama player maybe holding out the way Nico did.
Cody Goodwin, Bama 247. And Cody, you talk about development. Well, we got one of those players on this team, and he's in the form of the quarterback, Ty Simpson, of course, the redshirt junior. Been with Alabama since the beginning. Parents love him. Family loves Alabama. I mean, this is what it's all about. You got a guy that came in whenever the NIL was picking up. He didn't need any part of it. He was with the team he wanted to be with, and now he's likely to get that starting job. Can you tell us a little bit more from what you've seen down in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, not a ton, but we've seen enough. And I think we've seen enough to understand why. I believe it was Ryan Grubb who said it Monday during his press conference that if Alabama had a game tomorrow, Ty would be the starter. Yeah. It's something that he's earned. This was kind of the thought that we had coming into the spring, just based on his experience, just based on his talent level, where he's at in his development, where he's been the last few years, right? Like this is upcoming his, fourth season at Alabama. And it seems like all 4 years he's been in Tuscaloosa, he has been on the verge of being the starter, right? Like he came in as a 5-star and Nick Saban has never been afraid to play talented 5-stars if he believes they're ready. But I believe that first year was Bryce Young. So, okay, you're not going to usurp a Heisman Trophy winner. But then the next year, right, there was a quarterback battle between Ty Simpson, Jalen Milroe, Tyler Buckner, you know, and that quarterback battle lingered into the regular season, right? And, you know, I think I'm of the belief, I think I've told you this, I told you guys this, and if not, I know I've said it probably on our podcast, or maybe I've even written it, but, you know, I think that 2023 season, Nick Saban's last year, if Alabama's offensive line would have been a little bit better in pass protection, I feel pretty good about the idea of Ty Simpson perhaps being the starter that season. That's not ultimately what happened. Obviously, Caden Proctor struggled at left tackle. They decided Jalen Milroe and his playmaking ability out of structure gave them the best chance to win. And we saw them. They won the SEC. They went to the Rose Bowl. So then you come back next year, Kalen DeBoer, first year in. I think he's probably more leaning on the returning guys, which meant Milroe was probably going to be the guy again. But now here we are again with another quarterback battle. And I think we always thought that Ty Simpson had the lead, right, because of his experience. He has the most experience of all these guys in the room. He has been through a number of different coordinators, so he kind of knows how to change and adapt and learn different playbooks. And, you know, after 15 practices this spring, that did not change. Not surprised that it did not change. I do think going into, you know, we're still, 100 some days away from fall camp, 100 some days away from week 1 against Florida State. But I do think it's fair to say that this is Ty's job to lose. I think it's also fair to say that through 15 spring practices, nobody has outright won it. And I don't think that Ty has won it yet either. I don't know that this is a job that he can win until he kind of shows us and the coaching staff that this is a job that he can do at a high level. And we may not see that until week 1 against Florida State. But, you know, I think that Ty being the starter, if there were a game tomorrow, it makes a lot of sense. And, you know, I understand that that's where the staff wanted to go with it. And I think it'll calm the masses for the summer. But once we get into fall camp, late July, early August, I think that's when, you know, okay, what are you seeing from the quarterbacks now? Who made the most strides over the summer? Those are other questions that we'll be asking, you know, a few months from now.
No, well, Cody, here's the problem with that. The transfer portal opens back up tomorrow, and I'm looking at 3 quarterbacks. One of them obviously going to stay, Keelan Russell. He's going to have time to develop for this Crimson Tide squad. Ty Simpson right now has that job, kinda. But Austin Mack just sitting there right in the middle. How do you hold on to a guy like him throughout the offseason?
Put your hands together and pray a little bit. I think no. There's. I think if you're the coaching staff, you're talking to all three guys, and you're kind of giving them different variations of the same thing, and that's kind of what I just told you guys. Like Ty has not won this job. He has the lead in this quarterback race, but he has not won this job outright. Like that's Ryan Grubb telling us on Monday that if there was a game tomorrow, Ty would start. It tells me that Ty has the lead in this race. But I think you tell a guy like Austin Mack, like, hey. Like, especially if you're Ryan Grubb, like Ryan Grubb recruited Austin Mack when they were at Washington. He's the reason Austin Mack reclassified and ultimately got to Washington a year earlier than maybe he had initially planned, or at least a semester earlier, right? So, you lean on that relationship there. You say, hey, Ty hasn't won this job outright. I believe in your arm. I believe in your talent. There's a lot of gains that you still need to make over the summer and through fall camp, but this is a job you can win. You say the same thing to a guy like Keelan Russell, like, hey, man, like you're the 5-star guy. You're the future of this program. The future could be as early as week 1 against Florida State. Now, I think that's a little optimistic. I'm not sure that that's going to happen, but it's still a possibility that's out there. And so those are the things you're probably telling everybody in the quarterback room to keep them out of the portal. And especially, from Alabama's perspective, not only do you want to keep all of those three guys out of the portal, but if you lose one, then you have to go find a quarterback if for no other reason than to make sure that you have some depth. Because you got to remember last year they had 4 guys in the quarterback room. That was maybe a little abnormal, but it was kind of a luxury for Alabama to have 4 different arms in the quarterback room and 4 different arms that I think they all felt pretty good about putting in live game situations. They feel the same way about the 3 guys that they have in the room now, but if they were to lose one, I don't want to say it would be panic mode, but man, you don't want to have a thin quarterback room. Like they were already thin through the spring. They had to do a lot of things to make sure that the defense didn't touch any of the quarterbacks just to keep them healthy, keep them upright, to make sure that they had good depth in the room. You definitely don't want to lose one in the portal. So I think all of the staff and the coaches are telling these guys, hey, just because Ty has the lead here and he would start tomorrow if there was a game, that doesn't mean he's won this job yet. I think that's what you're trying to sell these guys to keep them out of the portal.
Well, and flip it, looking at the players that are going to go into the portal, what position could Alabama be looking to try to add somebody to after what spring practice they just wrapped up and they're looking at their depth chart saying we need some help at?
I think the top positional priority is tight end. You look at what they went through this spring. There were a lot of different injuries and different stuff kind of going on with the tight end room. Like Josh Cuevas sustained an injury. He's kind of in line to be tight end 1. He's a guy that can do a little bit of everything, a little bit more of a pass catcher, but a willing blocker, maybe something he needs to improve on a little bit more. He got hurt in fall camp. Marshall Pritchett, who, talented true freshman. He was doing some really good things early on in spring. They lost him for the remainder of spring, about midway through. Danny Lewis is a guy who has been in the program for a few years. He's kind of flirted with the portal a little bit here and there. He did not really participate at all this spring. Caleb Edwards, another talented true freshman, hasn't even enrolled yet. He's not going to get here until later in May. So that left you with Jay Lindsey, who's an Alabama guy, kind of made in the same mold as a Robbie Oots, but they had him taking tight end 1 reps on Saturday during A-Day. So, it was good for him to maybe get those reps and feel that. But then behind him, you got a bunch of walk-ons, right? Like Peter Knudsen, who's the Weber State transfer. Jaden Hobson's another walk-on guy. Like there's not a lot of depth there. There's also not a lot of experience. So I think you go into the portal looking for a tight end who can, 1, obviously add some depth to the room on the off chance that you don't have all these injuries squared away. But then 2, I think you just want to bring in another experienced guy who has played college ball before, just to give you a little bit of peace of mind that, hey, these freshmen, Caleb Edwards, Marshall Pritchett, are going to be good. I think they believe in Jay Lindsey still. He's a guy that still has some things he needs to develop, but you just want an experienced guy who has played some college football snaps, who knows what to bring to the position. And also it can be a little bit of a voice in the room for some of those younger guys as they continue to develop through the fall, through next season. So I think tight end's probably top of my list in terms of where Alabama needs to go looking in the portal.
Oh, I definitely like the sound of that. Tight ends in Alabama, they're probably one of the biggest mixes together that I've always loved throughout my time watching this team. But you talked earlier about it. Of course, Ty Simpson going to be a totally different quarterback than Jalen Milroe. I feel like a lot of Alabama fans are really happy to hear that, but they're also happy to hear that this offensive line might be to the point where they can actually hold up against a defense that's coming after their quarterback and give their QB time to find the wide open wide receiver.
Yeah, if the sense we got from talking to Grubb and talking to DeBoer is that they feel better about the offensive line coming out of spring than maybe they did going into spring, because this was another position group that was dealing with a handful of injuries, right? Caden Proctor did not really participate a ton. He did some few individual drills here and there, but he didn't participate a ton when it came to spring practice. Gino Vandemark, who seems to have the inside track to start at left guard this upcoming season, he got injured part the way through spring, so he didn't really get to participate in full in the way that you would like a guy who's going to be the presumptive starter to, you want him to get a lot of those reps. But it also sounded like Wilkin Formby at right tackle made some good strides, right? Able to use the experience that he got last year to have a really productive spring practice. Also sounds like some of the freshmen, Michael Carroll, Jackson Lloyd. I know Michael Carroll came in as a guard, and I'm really high on that guy, but they were able to kind of cross-train him a little bit at tackle to help build some depth there. Jackson Lloyd, another top 60 recruit, sounds like he could potentially be a swing tackle option. And then I think another guy that we heard quite a bit about this spring, Olas Alanen, he's a guy that cross-trained virtually across every single position of the offensive line. They brought him in as a guard back when Saban was still the coach, but he's a guy that got a lot of play at left tackle literally from day one starting in the spring because Proctor was not able to practice in full. They felt really, really good about what he was able to show them. And I'm one of those, guys that, hey, if the coaching staff feels pretty good, I also feel pretty good. And Ryan Grubb was very complimentary about Olas Alanen coming out of spring, just a guy that they're able to put into any of the offensive line positions, and he's able to function at a high level. I think he's more naturally an interior guy, but the fact that he was able and willing to play those tackle positions, you could use him as a swing tackle if maybe you don't feel like some of the freshmen are up to snuff once the fall hits. Yeah. So I think they feel really, really good about where the offensive line is at. I do think you could make the argument that offensive tackle is another position that they could go shopping for in the portal. The problem with that is there's probably not going to be very many, offensive tackles that hit the portal that you might be able to sell on coming in to be a backup, right? And so on top of that, if you want a starting caliber offensive tackle, you might have to overpay depending on what the rest of the market in the portal looks like. So it's kind of a tricky situation there coming into the portal, looking specifically for offensive tackles, but really offensive linemen as a whole. But I will say that the staff seems a lot more comfortable with the offensive line coming out of spring than they did going into spring, which means a lot was accomplished.
Cody Goodwin from Bama 247 has been our guest. Always great talking with you, Cody. You give us the information we need to know. And honestly, putting Olas on my radar from Finland, it's going to be interesting to see how he kind of gets worked into this roster. But let the people know where they can find you online and on socials.
Yeah, man, we're at I'm on socials on Twitter at Cody Goodwin, and then we've got Bama 247, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. We've got spring football wrap-up stuff all week. We've got portal stuff coming starting tomorrow. We're keeping an eye on the basketball portal. We were writing about the WNBA draft last night as well as some softball. Like there's a lot going on, man. I'm not sure there's any other Alabama website that's covering it the way that we are. So come along and enjoy the ride with us.
Love it. Great stuff, Cody. Till next time, man.
Thanks, bro.
Appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
Good stuff, as always. I'm looking at Olas Alanu's picture right now. I feel like he's really good at the staring contest. We'll take it to break. When we come back, finish out this Tuesday edition of The Blitz here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. And Newmarket, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 2190 County Road 65 very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove and soon in Newmarket.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof, not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC. SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. Their locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 977 ESPN The Zone.
Final segment, best segment. Tom Abraham's coming up at noon. He's going to be broadcasting live from Baumhauer's. So you can go down there, enjoy your lunch with him from 12 until 2. Phone lines are still open to you over the course of the next few minutes. 256-576-977 as Braves and Blue Jays get going tonight. Spencer Schwellenbach back on the mound for the Braves. He's only allowed 1 run through 3 total starts so far in 2025. And then Trash Pandas and Biscuits are going to be going over on Talk Radio WZZN. First pitch over there is at 6 o'clock.
Dude, and how about the Yankees last night as well? Getting the dub. Very simple in Yankees fashion. You had Rice. You had, I also played the MLB The Show 2015, so I got to hear a lot of the crazy older names that I remember listening to back whenever I listened. You got Rice hitting a home run. Boom. I love this kid, by the way. Ben Rice is an absolute beast. He's just like the typical, cornbread dude. He's big-bodied, and he's just ready to destroy it. Guerrera hit a home run, and it was just like 3 in a row, and then the 4th one came as well from
Jazz Chisholm.
Jazz, there it is.
That's the funny part. Is like Jazz Chisholm is mashing right now.
And
He has
for
6
his
home runs.
size, too. That's the crazy thing. He has
He's only batting
behind.
175, but when he hits, he connects.
Yeah, he kind of got on a little bit of a down streak. He actually ended, I think it was a 23 at bat drought yesterday. 2 days ago, he hit a home run, and then he followed it up with another home run. So he's been doing a little bit better, but this team needs to stop just hitting home runs, and they need to actually get guys on base, because then he can add on to the home runs. You look like UAH bringing in thousands of people every time they do it, even though Brock Butler didn't do that this past weekend. I digress. Joe, you probably saw the news, though, of brother Bill Oliver passing at the age of 85. And unlike a lot of these other news stories where we hear guys who are either going into their prime or with the whole Kyron Lacey news that is extremely tragic, for Bill Oliver, I mean, this man lived a full life. And honestly, it just had me going back to 1992, watching Alabama versus the Hurricane, of course, Miami, and getting to watch this team play again. Jay Barker at QB. I mean, the names.
His daughter had a good night last night.
The names that these guys got. I mean, Derek Lassick, this guy was an absolute beast. He wasn't even the biggest running back on the team. He was one of the few that made it to the NFL, but there was also Sherman Williams. I mean, it was just going back and watching this team, and that was all obviously the offensive side. For Oliver, he was more of a defensive dude, a defensive coordinator at the time, defensive back coach at that time. The team also went on to have like 4 interceptions in that game. I mean, it was just going back to that football and what he did, to some of the teams that he was with, whether it was Alabama, Auburn, didn't matter. He was in Chattanooga. He was coaching for the Memphis Showboats. And I'm not talking about the new Memphis Showboats. I'm talking about the original Showboats back in 1984. Like, to see what this guy did for so many sides. And I know that we have some connections, of course, with 97.7. Of course, Wes was good friends with him. You look around, I'm pretty sure Tom's got him in his phone. It was just, this guy meant a lot to a lot of people here in the Southeast. And to see him go, it's sad, but I also look at the celebration of life because he did live a very full life. It had plenty of time to enjoy it with family and friends. So just want to shout him out. I think everybody's got to.
No,
especially in this area.
No, absolutely. No, there was a massive connection with a lot of people in this area.
Oh yeah, and Clemson. There's just the Clemson aspect of this thing. But
Absolutely.
the Alabama-Auburn connection, bro, it brings us all together, even though we want to hate each other.
Yeah, I don't think there's much that can bring us together.
Yeah. But if there's one dude that
one
could,
or two things that can.
If there's one dude that could, it was brother Bill Oliver.
So yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Tomorrow we are back. Wednesday.
It's a wacky Wednesday.
It's covered.
The funnest day of them all. I'll be honest, Joe. These last 2 days, I've just kind of felt a little bit different. I think I got to re-up, get like 17 energy drinks in my system tonight.
Yeah.
And come back on a wacky Wednesday in no man's land.
For me, it's the depression of the Havoc season being over. But hey, dude, go look at my picture. You can see it in my face.
The sound of the organ. The crack of the bat.
It is gone.
The sight of watching the ball go over the wall. And the taste of peanuts and Cracker Jacks. There's nothing like it. It's America's pastime. From the first pitch to the final out, you can hear every game right here on your home for Alabama baseball.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm.